Hi, Wisefree. How are you doing in the chat? You are the only one. Oh. How can I move someone?
Hi.
Hi, sorry.
No, you're fine. How are you?
Yeah, I thought that you moved yourself because you wrote I move, and I like, You move yourself in the channel, Nani?
Oh. Do you have the room ID for me by chance?
I don't have rune IDs, and I'm still missing one of the roosters, so for the rooster, Nani.
Okay, cool. We will just wait then.
Oh, now they just posted it. Let me check. I hope this is like a participant ID. Yeah, it's a participant ID. It's not a spectator ID. I'm gonna send it to you.
Cool.
Alright.
Awesome, got it. How's your day so far?
Was good. Was super. I had a chilly day. I worked on something for YouTube and didn't went live. Yesterday I had a long live. Like the whole day was basically live, but more like Twitch things and Duellinks mix.
Cool.
Not like 12 hours Duellinks. I think I would go mad if I did that.
It'd be a lot. Yeah, this game is really fun, but I don't know that I could do it for 12 hours. It's a lot. Where are you located out of?
I'm in Germany.
You're in Germany? Okay, yeah. Cool.
I'm where the VCS will be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could I didn't need to participate, you know, they just bring the VM to me.
Yeah. You can just tell people that you got to go to Worlds.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to Worlds. They bring it to me.
Yeah.
Alright. So Wisefree is the only one obviously typing the chat. Let me check now. If I have the second rooster, because I actually don't. Let me ask next.
Cool.
I hope my keyboard is not too loud. I was told very often that my keyboard is too loud, but yeah, well.
It's not too bad. You can definitely hear it a little bit, but it's not like distracting.
Okay. Well, I like it. It's one of those old school keyboards which do not break, so I can do everything I want and it won't break.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, we've got Eugen in the room, so he might be starting. It looks like versus maybe Dan.
Yeah, he's a starter. I was already told.
Oh yeah, cool.
So I would just switch, okay? I guess. So I just made up my own rooster, you know. If they don't send me one, just make my own.
Yeah, we'll just guess.
Yeah. I put Panda there. Do you have a logo? Then I can put it on stream too.
I really don't have any particular logo.
Can I just put monkey there? Any monkey?
Yeah. You know what? Go ahead and choose your monkey of choice.
Alright, monkey PNG, let's go. That one looks good. There's one hanging from a tree. I take this one.
Perfect.
Good luck, Schniefuß. Hi, Miguel. What's up?
A few people starting to join in.
I guess so. Okay, where's the monkey? Okay. Oh no, it's not the PNG. Damn it.
Ooh.
PNG. Actually, look that one. This one is not a PNG, but that one is a one. This one is. Click down there. Thank you. It didn't go. Hi, Miguel! How are you, man? I'm trying to find a Monkeyboy which I can insert to the stream. But we are still waiting for the roosters, so... Okay, it's going to be Dan. Yeah, Monkeyboy will cast, yeah. Okay, so we have Dan versus Eugen. Okay,
Yep.
I will add the... But what is the rooster of the first team? I still didn't get it.
For...
Player.
I think if you look on your layout, you've got the team names switched as well. And then I'm not sure. I think we're still waiting on Abusement Park roster.
I'm still waiting actually for the APK rooster, roster.
Yeah.
Rooster. Start? Good question, don't know. I'm not the referee. They already started.
Oh, well, we will just watch them from there. Yeah, Abusement Park, if you guys have your roster.
I still need the roster from Bricks. So, okay,
Oh,
we
from
start
Bricks
now
or
the
from
game.
EPK?
Yeah. I turn you a little bit louder. Maybe the music
Okay,
was too loud. Thanks for the bit. I'm turning a little bit down. Okay, so Did we correct it now? Eugen at the top, Dan at bottom player, okay. 0-0, first game Bricks and Potatoes versus Abusement Park, but I still don't know who the other players are actually from Bricks and Potatoes because no one told me! So I should add Dan because he's playing.
Dan for sure. It's a safe guess.
Yeah, I don't know about the other guys, so...
Well, so Dan, I think you need to swap team names. The bottom roster is Bricks and Potatoes.
Oh, sorry.
And then the top one would be Abusement Park, which I think we're waiting on maybe Abusement Park roster.
Wait, they just sent me the APK roster.
Well, in the meantime, while we get that set up, we're seeing Quackimero on one end. Other character being Yusei, which is likely going to be Quackimero as well, so mirror match here. Strong start from Eugen. Several defensive back row, managed to get a Quackimero wall out, which can negate a diamond if that's played from Dan. We do see the diamond here, so we'll see if that's chosen to be negated. Yep, as expected. So it can still banish and get the protection on monsters, which is still a very good effect. But at least does not get the search, so that's a 1-for-1 trade right there. It can potentially disrupt some combos for Dan. Floodgate trap hole onto the EugenHeidt. Really stopping a lot of combos here.
Okay, I got it now.
Perfect. We've got Dan thinking on a play. My guess would be he might be able to go into Maximus here, and he's debating if he wants to really go all in that early versus Eugen still having one back row.
Hi Veraldin. Sorry guys. Now we've got
hi chat.
Yeah, hi chat guys. Now we got it set finally. Abusement Park with Tenma, Panda, Dan, CalmRooster, and ASAP. And with Brick and Potatoes we have Eugen, Jenkins, SelectMaple, Schniefuß, and Gift. Ooh. Oh, it's Quackimero Mira? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we saw Maximus came out, destroyed the back row. Dan was reading no delays, so he did decide to go all in with that Maximus, popped it, and it ended up being a bluff hatred grenade.
I think I can't go really down anymore. Super low game music now.
So at this point, Eugen comes in, does manage to top deck another EugenHeidt, which allows him the ability to summon out that ice and pop Maximus, as well as board clear and swing in for some extra damage. But at this point, he will lose all of his remaining monsters at the end of the turn.
And now he has naked board.
Yep, he has no board, no cards. Dan at least has some cards on his side of the field, but I think Eugen was forced into a tough position from that Maximus where he had to do what he had to do. Dan sets one card. Seems to be debating if he wants to summon a monster. He sets a monster instead.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that Dan has something where he can defend this monster, and he figures that if Eugen is not able to top into a monster and swing in himself, then at this point Dan can swing in for an OTK is his hope.
True that.
But he had to put something.
But he also has to defend it, otherwise it would be very scary. Just have a naked board and 1,800 life points left.
Yeah. Yeah, any Quackimero can swing into those 1,800.
Yep. I I guess Eugen's now doing a lot of thinking.
You know, I'm honestly not sure. I mean, he's got one card that he top decked, so there's
Yeah.
not too much to think through. I would imagine, but I don't know.
Or maybe he's playing Hearthstone beside the game. That's also possible. You never know.
Honestly, with Eugen, I would not be surprised if he, you know, had another game going side by side and was also winning in that game as well.
Yeah. Because
He's hedging his bets. He said, "I'm gonna go to Worlds for all of the competitive
games
card
out
games
there, yeah.
rather than just one."
He decides to summon the Sandman.
He does summon the Sandman. He activates Tie That Binds, and he will swing in. He's in a real tough spot. One card versus Dan's 2 cards is just a very uphill battle right now. He needs to hope that Dan starts drawing some dead top decks.
Is Captain Sano a kind of hater of yours? Because he's writing to the chat that you sound like someone who pees sitting down.
He is my team leader, so that's some friendly fire there.
Okay, I see.
Alright, so Paleozoic Canadia activated. Does flip Sandman face down. No reason for Sandman to negate that. But instead now Eugen does lose his Sandman to Kwaki Mirror Wall.
Oh, and he keeps the wall on hand because he has Sandman in hand. Oh, whoa.
Is able to reveal. At this point, I would probably say that will be game. Well, I guess we'll see.
You negated.
Tributes to negate, but this still could come into play. Eugen has enough life points to survive one more attack, and now he will have Diamond Core, which he can banish on his next turn to keep his Kwaki Mirror monster alive. And his Tie That Binds will let him swing over likely most any Kwaki Mirror monster. So, we'll see. Dan's setting one to survive.
But we know that... Oh, we don't know what he has on his hand now. We know before that he had one Sandman left, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. If I were Dan, I think I would have maybe started swinging in. I guess I don't necessarily know Dan's top deck, but I'm guessing he probably set the Sandman that he revealed last turn. And at this point, he's just losing monsters.
And the Knight stays on field due to the Diamond Core.
Yep, so Diamond Core protects that, keeps it alive.
No!
Okay, so that's what he set, is that, yep, he was waiting for the full Maximus play. Yep. Well done.
GG! Hi, Ange. How are you?
And that will put Abusement Park up 1-0.
Yes, first game. Nice play. But that's how it ends. Koakimeru versus Koakimeru, right?
Yep.
So Eugen changes deck and we'll come back and then we will see what he plays against Koakimeru meta.
Yep, there is a lot that could be paired with the Koakimiro. If I had to randomly guess, I would maybe say Ancient Gears, but I guess we'll see what character comes in next.
Oh no, okay, I can't spectate, dang.
Oh, interesting. So we see likely Kaiba Bling Vampires.
Yeah. Hi Mako. Aw, I'm a big fan of you too.
Yeah, hi Mako. As well as just anybody else who continues to join in. I see we're up to about 55 people now. That's awesome. Thank you all for tuning in.
Hi Dragadren. Yeah, your captain really likes you. He made a lot of interesting comments about how you are at home, in bed, and whatsoever.
Out here getting roasted.
Your team captain really loves you from the bottom of his heart.
Yeah, we're great friends, right?
Yeah.
So looking at this match, though, we have got we see Dan set one card and pass turn. Now this could be because he opened very well, and he wants to save that combo for You know, the next turn he can actually attack, or he could have opened very poorly and he's just hoping to survive here.
Finally, I found the monkey.
There we go.
Perfect monkey.
Perfect. And that's a real life. That's a selfie of me.
Yeah. You are hanging
Yep.
from a tree, man.
Yeah,
Hang
I just
in
took
there.
that.
Hang
yesterday.
in there.
Hang in there.
Yeah, you're right. Kybercorp Bling Vampires.
Yep, and we did see the Cosmic Cyclone onto that Paleozoic Canadia. We do know that vampires have a lot of ability to OTK.
Yeah.
And most Bwaki Mirror decks are not running Sphere Karibo anymore, especially due to Ancient Years being in the meta. So we will likely see a quick OTK here if Eugen is able to get to the field spell.
Oh, he sorted out a Maximus. Vampire Kingdom comes in. I think that's game already.
Yep, and so there it is.
GG!
Good game. Hard to know if Dan bricked there or if he was just hoping he could survive on one Canadia, but either way, Eugen opened too powerful.
And it's 1-1. That was fast. So which team are you rooting for, Monkeyboy?
You know, it's tough to say. I've got a lot of friends on APK. That team and I are kind of just friends in general, so I guess I have to say I'm rooting for them. But I think both teams are very good. I've got a lot of respect for Bricks and Potatoes too.
Yeah, I think
They're
actually
very-
these are maybe the both two strongest teams here within Team Wars. Which we
Yeah,
have
you
here.
could definitely. I would definitely say that it's two top teams.
Yes.
Bricks and Potatoes, of course, has a very stacked roster. And Abusement Park's been doing pretty well this season. A few losses in maybe more recent weeks, but I would say definitely still a team in the running for playoffs as well. So now we see Dan's second deck.
Oh, Ancient Years.
Yeah, Ancient Years here, yep.
Yeah. Alright. But Dan's first turn?
Yep, so Dan getting to go first, although in some ways for Ancient Gears that's good, because if Dan does have a normal summon here, then he'll get a counter on that Ancient Gear Castle, and will likely have 2 counters by the time it gets back to his turn. No normal summon though, just sets 2 cards and passes.
That's
So
actually not a good sign. Unless he has
No.
maybe a fortress set and battling on Noel. I don't think that Eugen's going to fall for that.
Yeah, I mean, even still, so we know Eugen is running Cosmic Cyclones, which would not trigger the Fortress,
Yeah.
as well as could potentially push through this back row. We'll see. Vampires OTKing through 2 back row isn't too likely, but it's definitely possible.
Let's watch these.
So at this point, Eugen is trying to figure out what kind of board he wants to set up and build for the next turn, or what kind of push he wants to make this turn. I guess we'll get to see a little bit about which boss monsters he runs. Of course, I think everybody's running Grace. Some people are running
We have
Crimson.
already seen Grace in the last game, so definitely, yeah.
So we'll see if he tries to go for maybe a Grimson here, or if he might not run that. He's running 21 cards, it looks like. So likely a little bit of extra room, which probably went to the use of at least that Cosmic Cyclone. Might have some defense in there too, but not too much room in Vampires.
Yeah. Samurai
for
Skull
tech
summoned to
cards.
the field
Yep, very strong start. Samurai Skull is probably the ideal starting monster.
and Retainer in the graveyard. And now he does
Yeah.
his usual vampire shenanigans.
Going for, we'll see if he has the full combo. No full combo, but we'll likely set up a takeover play here. Goes for Domain instead, which makes me think that he has another boss monster in hand, and Grace was not the option he wanted to go with. We'll see if he can take over into something like maybe a Grimson, and have hopefully a better chance to survive any push from Ancient Gears on the next turn.
I wonder what those 2 cards are in the hand of Dan. Maybe he has
It's a-
already a reactor.
He might. He very well may. It's either a lot of back row, or yeah, it could be a reactor as well. Likely no normal summons. He didn't play anything, so probably not Wyvern. Probably no Breaker yet. Could have a field spell maybe that he chose to just not put on the field. I guess we'll see.
Okay, now Dan is thinking activating some of his back row. Yes or no?
Yep. And so worth noting is that Eugen did choose to pay for Domain even though he didn't have another monster to summon. Reason being is that he does want to set up that guaranteed Kybercorp Bling for the Econ draw next turn. And knew he could gain some life points back.
And here comes Gear Town.
Yep. So Gear Town coming in.
One was a fortress.
One was a fortress, you're right, yeah. And so Gear Town, alongside with the Ancient Gear Castle that has one counter, yep, allows him to tribute Reactor Dragon for one last tribute. Gets that Reactor on field. Eugen only having one face-down card. We know we know vampires don't have a lot of room for too many defensive cards.
Yep.
So we'll see. I mean, even if it was a Canada face-down, the Fortress is protecting that Reactor Dragon from being targeted this turn. So likely what we can expect here is that Eugen will take some pretty substantial damage, but likely cannot OTK here, which is very bad. If Eugen has another monster that he's able to bring out this next turn, he will likely Kybercorp Bling draw for an Econ.
An Econ take, yeah. Oh, he goes Vampire Takeover.
Oh, so that's why he didn't search the Takeover earlier. He already had it.
Alright, Canada Chain. Canada to the board, Vampire Kingdom.
Yep, puts a Canada on board.
Grace also summoned well.
Grace being summoned for extra defense. Eugen does not want to take 3,000 defense or 3,000 points of damage to his life points if he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
With the inevitable second Reactor Dragon.
Hi, Big Daddy.
Daddy in chat, hello.
I wonder if he might have like a second reactor on hand, and he's going to destroy his own Gear Town to summon that.
Well, so he can, if he destroys the Gear Town, he can even summon the Reactor Dragon from deck, so he will guaranteed get a second. Let's see here in just a minute. We'll see if it was from the hand, though. It could have been, and that's why he doesn't have another card.
Or he summons from deck, who knows.
Destroying the Gear Town, choosing which monster to summon.
Yeah, summons from deck the other reactor.
Yep, summons another reactor from deck. Still don't know what that other card in his hand is. Could be another Gear Town. Maybe he does run 3 Reactor Dragon. Very hard to say.
Besides,
either way,
destroy the vampire's domain instead of the kingdom. Okay.
Yep, and I think that's a pretty tough call in general. But this late into the duel, he's trying to minimize the number of, I guess, summons that Eugen is able to get versus the attack points.
And here comes the Kybercorp Bling.
Yep, so picking up likely an Econ off the top of the deck, which will allow, if he can summon a monster, it will allow him to crash one Reactor Dragon into another. However, the problem here is that with Dan having Fortress on board, is that when those Reactor Dragons do crash, Dan could be thinking of this wrong, but I'm pretty sure Dan gets to activate Reactor Dragon's pop effect and pop Fortress, which could bring back one of the destroyed Reactor Dragons. We'll see here in a second.
I just imagine like Dan having a Karibo in hand.
You can only hope, right? Because Dan can only hope.
Reactor into Canada is not game.
No.
There's 1,000 points missing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's due to this sad overlay here with the text over the 2. You can't really see it. That's really bad. That's bad game design by Konami. They need to get rid of
Yeah.
this again.
Yeah, it's I think they've identified it as a glitch, and it's just something that'll get fixed on the next update, but who knows when that is.
Okay. Oh, really? He kills the Canadian with the retainer, and now EugenHeidt.
Yep, so swings in for 500 damage there. Will crash both the reactor dragons. We'll see if I was right or wrong about that effect activation. Yep, and so does get to use a reactor dragon from the graveyard. Destroys a fortress, gets to summon out another reactor dragon, and at this point that is likely game. I don't know that Eugen can do, or that Dan can do much of anything. I don't know that Eugen can do much of anything to survive, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Another Geotown, so he did have another Geotown this whole time. That was the card he was holding on to.
And another fortress
Wyvern.
drawn.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, this is beyond game. Yep. Well done. Played correctly by Eugen. I just don't think that there was much of any play he could really do there.
Yeah.
Vampires
he
being
another one.
Yep.
Town, yeah.
Yep.
GG.
Yep. Vampires have been having a tough time keeping up with the meta this week, and Team Wars, I think, is what I've been seeing a lot of. And this is just more proof of that, is that it's getting tougher and tougher for them. They're getting phased out a little bit. But well played on both players' parts, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So Eugen is out. Let's check out who they will bring up next.
Yep, so Bricks and Potatoes will APK off to an early lead. Bricks and Potatoes trying to figure out which player to send in next.
I guess so,
to
yeah.
counter these Ancient Gears. Likely, if we had to guess, I would say Kawaki is probably the strongest choice to send in versus Ancient Gears. However, that being said, I think in my opinion at least, Kawaki versus Ancient Gears isn't a very hard counter. It's just probably the best option, but I think either deck can really still win that matchup.
Welcome, Doctree. I think Bricks and Potatoes. They got it. They got him. Next one.
There we go. Jenkins coming in next. We can see the world's icon. Gotta flex it if you have it. For anyone curious how the other team war is going, I just checked in on that one as well. Renegades versus X-Hunters. Renegades are up 6-3 right now.
We are doing Team Wars Doctree, as you can see.
Yep, Team Wars for Bricks and Potatoes versus APK should be a fun one. So we see likely Kawaki Miro having been sent in from Jenkins. Jenkins going first, trying to figure out what kind of board he wants to set up. I think probably the ideal board here in this situation would be to get if you ideally can get a Kawaki Miro wall on board and have it survive through your opponent's turn. And likely what you try and do is you stop the Galaxy Cyclone from popping a fortress or a gear town. That being said, sometimes easier than done.
Maybe he's just doing a lot of calculation and thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, first turn is an important one. It kind of frames how you want to set the rest of the duel. Pass his turn.
What? Completely? Like not sending anything?
So no cards at all, which means he's either taking a very big gamble. He either has no playable cards or he's got, you know,
Oh.
potentially a very good hand, and he's taking a big gamble that Dan was not going to open well enough to OTK here. But we can see that that gamble is likely wrong.
Yep.
Unless Jenkins is running a Sphere Karibo to stop the Breaker's attack, then this is likely just game flat out.
Yep.
Oh, and
Oh.
now it's game through anything.
Yep.
No Sphere Karibo
Got
anyway.
two
We see
gear
a very
towns,
quick
so-
win. Yep.
GG.
Quick, easy wins from Dan. We've seen a lot of wins from Ancient Gears this week, actually.
They can just OTK.
Yeah, it's really, I guess in my opinion, it's honestly not that different from Quackimero. It's got a little bit more defense, but they both just sack as soon as they
But
can.
you can also break really hard with them.
Yeah, you definitely can. You can break with, I think, either deck, to be honest, I would say. As we, you know, potentially saw from Jenkins there, not able to set up any particularly strong board.
Send in Schniefuß. Yep. I have shown you the real name of Snyffus. It's Schniefuß. The German name. Now you know what his real name is. Schniefuß.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah, behind the curtain. That's his true name. That is his slave name. From now
There
on,
we
he
go.
will be known by the name of Schniefuß.
So we see Jenkins quickly back into his second deck, jumping back on the table, looking like an Ancient Gear mirror match here.
Yep, definitely.
And this, honestly, not a bad set of decks to throw against an Ancient Gear player. You know, you hope you get to go second with Quackimero when you send that in, and hopefully just OTK through Ancient Gears. If that deck loses, it comes down to a mirror match here, and you know, at least that's kind of a 50-50 in a certain sense.
But Dan is opening up alright. Like last
Yeah.
game, he opened up like a god.
Yeah, he did. Honestly, for a mirror match, I would say Dan opening up pretty strong here. The player who goes first is going to be the first one to get a counter
Yeah.
on their Ancient Gear castle, and we'll see next turn if that's able to benefit Dan as he can get out a Reactor Dragon earlier.
Are you betting Lexter with Daddy who's going to win? Is that even allowed? Is this salty bet running here?
It's all underground, you know. We can't stop them.
Jenkins is thinking what to summon and what to do. I think one of the face downs from Dan is a Canadian. Just feels like a Canadian.
Yeah, it's tough to say. You know, Jenkins can probably tell a little bit of the delay on draw. You can see if that hourglass lights up at all as he draws and goes into standby in main phase, which will tell him if anything is activatable right off the bat. I would say, honestly, probably worst case is that there was no delay, in which case, you know, both of those face downs are probably Canadia or Floodgate. Jenkins also probably trying to think if he's willing to give that second counter to Dan.
Oh, he has a Gear Town.
Yep.
And he summons
So he
a
does
super
go for it.
busted Wyvern.
Yep, so we get that 23 Wyvern onto the field, searches an Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon just like Dan did. We've got clearly the face down field spell. We'll see if he's got a follow-up Galaxy Cyclone to be able to make a play there and get a Reactor Dragon out. And we've got at least one defensive card from Jenkins.
Nice try, Darkblade. Nice try. And welcome. Welcome.
I think Jenkins likely might have that Galaxy Cyclone, and he was debating if he wanted to play it and have his Reactor Dragon probably
he
fall
decides
to
to
either.
crash.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's trying to avoid either like a Canadia or a Floodgate onto his reactor. As long as both of these field spells, or both of these castles are on the field, then a attack mode reactor can swing over a defense mode reactor. Does crash.
And
Dan
nothing
decides to let
happens?
it go through. We could see some delay. Hard to say which player's side that was on, but I would guess that would likely be a Canada from Dan. He's debating if he wanted to use it. So one face down being
It's
Fortress
a fortress,
as
so
a
it was
bluff.
one Canada, one fortress again, just like in his first game.
Yep, very likely. We'll see. Dan does have the two counters on his castle, and he did search a reactor dragon last turn. So at this point, Dan trying to read delays on that face down card from Jenkins, trying to think if it's worth putting a reactor dragon on field and having it potentially walk into a floodgate or a Canada. Because like I mentioned, if he does put this reactor dragon out, which he does, and it gets put into defense mode and he can't defend it, then Jenkins is likely able to set up his own reactor dragon and swing over next turn.
Yeah, I'm expecting a Canada.
Yeah, you know, you'd think Jenkins has to have something if he was willing to crash.
But it cannot be targeted right now by Canada.
Oh, true. The fortress does protect there. So at this point, Jenkins has to have a floodgate trap hole. Otherwise, there's going to be a pretty big push that happens on this turn.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, I can't tell right now if we're waiting on a decision from a response from Jenkins, or if Dan is just thinking through his play. Okay, so no response. Dan goes into battle phase, swings in with Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. We do see some delay. That's a double cyclone from Dan. That is interesting. And he uses it after the swing. This is very well played by Dan. He uses it during the swing of Reactor Dragon, meaning that even though Fortress is destroyed, no spell trap or monster effects can be activated by Jenkins during that swing, which means he can safely get out the Wyvern and go for game. I will say Dan, of course, had very strong cards there, but that was very well played on his part as well.
Definitely. Which means Jenkins is out.
Yep, so Dan going on a little bit of a tear here at 4-1 so far. Putting Abusement Park into a strong lead.
Definitely.
I'd say still anybody's war, but you know, the earlier you can get a strong lead like this, you know, the better, because the more you can kind of get the game, take the game away from the other team, the less counter options they have to send in.
It was very well played, yeah.
Now Abusement Park back to the drawing board, trying to figure out which player to send in. They have got Schniefuß and SelectMaple and Gift.
Yeah. So who can stop Dan?
Yeah, three very strong players. I think it's just going to really come down to which decks they're running. But I think that, you know, Bricks and Potatoes is going to have a lot of confidence in their whole lineup really for this one. You've got Oregon, who is going to Worlds this time. Jenkins, who went to Worlds last year. Maple, a very well-known player. Snyffus, again, very well-known player. And then Gift, who's really done a lot in Team Wars, especially lately these last season or two.
See your Dark Blade. Bye-bye. I think everyone like in Bricks Potatoes team is like a heavyweighter.
Yeah, it's just a very stacked team of good players.
Yeah. But obviously you can see RNG sometimes also decides if you win or lose, no matter how good you play.
Yep, I would say very much so in this meta, to be honest. It's really I mean, there's definitely like some kind of counterplay involved, but a lot of the time it's really, do you have the cards to blow out your opponent, or does your opponent have the cards to blow you out?
Yep. One turn, basically.
Yeah, we see a lot of quick duels, and that's what we've seen so far is a lot of 2 and 3 turn duels.
But the last play
Um,
by Dan was really awesome.
Yeah, no, Dan's showing that there is still some room for skill and thoughtful plays. Um, Revealing that double cyclone, which we had not seen yet, which is, you know, an interesting card. It's not, you know, too crazy to run in Ancient Gears, but I would say it's not kind of the standard default.
So he went with the reactor into attack mode and waited until the damage step where what was his last Jenkins could not react to it anymore, and then he activated the double cyclone to get rid of the econ. And it is like there. The question is also theoretically Jenkins could have activated the econ before.
Well, no, because see the thing there is that the fortress stopped econ
any
from
target, I
Reactor
see, yeah.
Dragon.
Okay.
Yep. And Reactor Dragon, when it swings, for during, you know, its attack declaration or battle
be activated
like
anymore,
that. Yeah, no cards from your opponent can be activated.
Yep.
So he knew that even though he was losing Fortress, it was totally safe because it was still during that swing. And so he'd never be able to target any monsters. Okay, so we see likely another Kawaki Miro deck being sent in from Sniffus. We see one card set and a pass. You know, Dan has seen these kind of weaker openings before. He knows how to deal with them. If he's got good enough cards, he can just come right in and OTK. We'll see.
Oh, here comes another breaker.
Here comes Breaker.
Scary.
Yep. As
and
well as a face down.
Now he goes Canada, okay.
You see Sniffus saw it coming from a mile away, had his toggle set to on, was ready to flip that Breaker face down. Says not this time. We know that trick. Canada onto the EugenHeidt, stopping a full OTK combo here very likely. Sniffus still opting to bring Alkalia's Canada because it can swing over the Breaker.
Thank you for the subscription, Doc3. Thank you!
Oh, thank you.
He scared me with the sound. I forgot. But he didn't summon a Maximus to the board. Instead, he went for Canada. Nani? What happened
Yep,
here?
so no Maximus. Hard to say if he would have been able to or not. You know, maybe he was just trying to make a big push and do some damage. But at the very least, summons up that Canada and swings over Breaker, which reduces Dan's chances to be able to pop that Gear Town. But we'll see if he still has anything. Another good thing to note here is that Sniffus, with Kawaki Miro's not having a ton of back row in the deck and him having no set, that means that he cannot use Double Cyclone to pop his own Gear Town either. But we see Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon come out. We'll see it, you know, swing in. It's about to pop that Gear Town. Likely gonna have a second Reactor Dragon. And probably cannot OTK in any way here, but can do some substantial damage. Has one defensive card, has two reactors on field. Very good position.
But well, here's a chance for the comeback of Schniefuß. Let's see what he can do.
So there's definitely a chance. He's going to have to play through one back row, which is tough. Kawaki Miro Ice is able to pop one of the reactor dragons, but the middle one was tribute summoned, so it can't pop that one. He really needs that back row to be a dead card. He needs to be able to get a Maximus out on field, pop one reactor dragon, and swing into another.
So here comes the EugenHeidt.
Yep, so EugenHeidt number 2, revealing an Iron Core, successfully summoned. We'll see if he does go for an Ice to pop at least one reactor dragon, or if he goes for maybe a Sandman to stop a trap, in which case he likely has a Maximus to be able to pop one reactor and swing over another, and then he can OTK. Well, probably not OTK if he has to tribute the Sandman, but still, he can board wipe. So we do see the ice here, which I'm guessing probably means no max, but I guess we'll see.
He's definitely going to drop one card to destroy one of the reactors.
Yep, so drops that iron core, pops a reactor dragon, ice in defense mode.
If he had an
And a
econ, what would he do right now? Ooh!
You know, if he had econ, hard to say still. Because he would need both attacks to successfully go through to be able to OTK. And there is that one back row.
Thinking emoji going on. Oh, he ends his turn?
Yep, so ending his turn, deciding which Clocky Mirror monsters he wants to keep. I'm gonna guess he might have to get rid of the EugenHeidt here, and will keep the ice in defense just to survive. Yep, so we can see he thought through that play ahead of time. He's now discarded. He's down 2 EugenHeidts. He has discarded 2 iron cores. That's all of his graveyard.
Yep.
You see the wyvern here, and that's likely just game.
Yep.
In fact, that is just game. Yep.
And Fortress. GG.
Yep.
Surrendered. So
Well
obviously
played.
Schniefuß surrendered here.
Alright, Sniff is coming in. He'll come in with his second deck here soon.
Obviously Dan is on the rampage.
Yeah, Dan on a very powerful start for Abusement Park. Dan said he does not want to let the rest of his team play. Very notoriously selfish player.
Notoriously benching everyone.
Refuses to distribute the wins amongst his team. And his team's saying, hey, you know what? As long as we get this win, we'll take that.
Okay, second deck by Schniefuß.
Yep, Sniff is ready with that second deck coming in, jumping back off the table, a little bit unsure, making sure he's got that right deck. And don't blame him. I get super nervous about that as well. And when you're down 5-1, that's really not the time when you want to come in with the wrong deck and take the loss for no reason.
Hi Irland, how are you? Maybe he's like also like on I don't know. Maybe they're just on TeamSpeak right now and discussing what they should play against this guy. How to stop Dan.
Yeah, at this point, you know, Bricks and Potatoes really needs to figure something out quick. And it's tough. My team ran into this exact same problem versus an Ancient Gear deck yesterday where, you know, like I said, Kawaki Miro is definitely not a hard Ancient Gear. And we've seen that here several times in this war where, you know, you send it in theory, it's probably your best option, but Ancient Gears can still very much just OTK a Kawaki Miro deck as well. And we've seen that a couple times, and if you can't take down that Ancient Gear deck.
So last gamble Sniffus versus Ancient Gear.
Yep, last gamble will likely Buster Blader, you have to assume, in which case, you know, Ancient Gear is considered to be the counter to Buster Blader, so really not a great situation overall. That being said, I mean, if Sniffus opened well, and he opened with maybe a fusion spell and a DNA, he can start off and open pretty strong and do some damage to this Ancient Gear player.
So are you coming to Germany for WCS?
Am I? I am not.
Ah.
I am not qualified and don't want to foot that plane ticket.
You don't have to be qualified to join the WCS. You just come here.
Well, it's true. I'd much rather have Konami pay for my plane ticket though than myself, unfortunately.
Where are you located at?
I'm in the middle of the U.S. I'm in a state called Nebraska.
Alright. That's a long trip.
Yeah, that'd be a long one for sure.
Maybe a fortress? No. That's a Canadian, summons the wyvern. Gets
Yeah,
maybe a reactor
likely.
or fortress. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see here shortly. Goes for a fortress, meaning he likely has a reactor.
Actually, I was planning my trip to Japan because I was thinking I need to go to WCS if it's in Japan. And then, just at the same day, one of the German guys from the Duellinks community like texted me like, "We are going to Berlin," and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, the WCS is this year in Berlin." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Thanks God I didn't buy any tickets yet."
Right? Yeah. No, but yeah, that would have been a super cool trip for anybody out in Europe. I feel like, you know, when it was at, or when Worlds was at Japan, that'd be a really cool trip to be able to go out and make. See some good Yu-gi-Oh and experience some other good, you know.
But WCS in Berlin is still good, and it's much cheaper for me to go there.
It's very cheap for you. I'm jealous.
They are just like they brought the championships just basically to me, to my home. I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
I can just go over there over the weekend. It doesn't take a long time. Great.
Yeah, you know, that's great for you, but I'm sure a little bit disappointing to Eugen.
Oh yeah, I
who
understand that
worked
totally.
so hard for getting to go to Worlds.
I want to
and
go to
then
Japan, and then what? I'm in
found
Germany?
out Worlds
No.
in his backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. He'll make Konami pay for his gas money, though. You know. I'll send him receipts.
Eugen said he likes it. Well, a little bit disappointment is in there though. But I think he can meet up with all his trading card game friends together
true.
in Berlin. That's a different story then. How flying. Hi Nifroth. How are you doing? Do you still have a cold? Yeah, his voice was like, I think on Friday, like super low, sound like super sick.
Sniffus, while dueling, coming into chat to confirm that Eugen was in fact joking and does hate the fact that Worlds is in Germany.
Wait, Schniefuß, don't you have to concentrate on the game?
You would think, but you know, he's letting us know what's important here, right here and right now.
Chatting. And maybe he's playing Hearthstone beside this too. Who knows?
You've got to imagine. I like to think all of Bricks and Potatoes is simultaneously playing Hearthstone during this war.
Cards Vanguard or Shadowverse or whatsoever.
Yeah.
Getting better. Alright. That sounds good, Nif.
Yeah, Nif, good to hear.
Oh, here comes another Kuribo.
Okay, we see a Flute of Summoning Kuribo bringing a second Kuribo out. Protecting Sniffus' life points, which means he will likely be able to survive into that turn 5 of 2 cards in his hand. He can last gamble. Got 2 cards face down as well. We don't know what those are. We'll likely see him just immediately discard these 2.
Oh, here comes the Whelp.
Or, okay, he does Buster Whelp.
Oh, but he decides not to gamble.
Well, he still can, because he'll thin his deck a little bit and draw out that fusion spell. And then now if he discards the fusion spell, he can still get that back out from the graveyard into his hand by swapping a card in his hand into the graveyard for it.
Depending on what he draws.
Yep.
Okay. Did you see the monkey, Nif? He found the monkey for Monkeyboy. Over here!
Hi Nif, long time no see.
Okay, obviously Dan decides to use the Canadian on the Whelp.
Yep, and to my knowledge, unless I missed it, there is no Buster Blader in the graveyard. So maybe a little bit premature there, but hard to say. So the only thing Canada would do is stop that Buster Whelp from tributing itself to summon out a Buster Blader.
Yeah.
But I guess better safe than sorry. You don't know. He doesn't know that other card in the hand.
Oh, now he
Alright.
goes for the last gamble, just as I said before.
Yep. So he discards another Buster Whelp, so he had 2.
And he draws a
As
3.
well.
It's okay.
Yep. So that's a +1. That's a good trade there.
Yeah.
At this point, his life points were in jeopardy of pretty much any attack, you know, taking him down to 0 anyway, so his life points, paying those really doesn't matter too much. He discards a couple cards, can get one of them back if he needs that fusion spell back. We'll see what he drew, though.
Yeah, so if Dark Tree comes to Germany, there will be beer and sausages for him. That's what we offer here.
There you go. That's a good deal. I would take that. Alright, plays the Emblem of Dragon Destroyer.
And gets back the fusion.
Or he plays it, yep, gets back the fusion. We'll see what he discards for it. Sends the Buster Blader that he just added. DNA Surgery, meaning he can now start fusing off opponents' monsters instead of his own Buster Whelp. But either way, we know he for sure at least had dragons he could use for that fusion.
Double Cyclone coming in.
Double Cyclone, taking a risk on destroying his own castle and pops the DNA. Sniffus with TTH face down, that's going to be really devastating.
Dan, he's our man. Woodlad is here.
Dan, though, with Canadia in the grave, at least getting some, well, sort of some defense, but he'll take, you know, full damage from that when a Buster Blade or Destruction Swordsman swings in.
Okay, he goes in for the 2,800 piercing damage.
Yep. So really, I mean, essentially, I guess probably should have either summoned that in attack or not summoned it, because he gave Dan, not to call him out because he's been playing well, but maybe a misplay there.
Oh, summons
Gave
from
his
hand,
opponent
yeah.
the most damage possible.
I
Now
guess
summons a
this is
breaker.
GG. This is GG.
Yep. And now swings in.
Dan is
Scan.
unstoppable, obviously, for today.
Yep. And Woolad, hi, hello in chat. Jay Rabian in here too.
Hi, Jay! Prince of Jarabia has arrived.
Who has lost already from bricks is a good question. You'll see the ones with the bricks next to their name are out. So that unfortunately is Eugen, Jenkins, and now Sniffus.
Yeah, Sniffus is out too now. Yep.
Also falling to these ancient gears.
They have all been clapped by Dan. Kinda unstoppable today.
Yeah, Dan really putting in work here.
I think he just decided like I would bench everyone from my team because I can. Dan kicked Maple's ass, Nani. So select Maple's the next. Okay, there's not much left, it's just Maple and Gift, so 50-50 chance.
Yeah, bricks and potatoes getting low on players left to send in. This is when I'd say this is probably about the point where you go into panic mode, you know?
Panic
Just
mode.
a little bit.
Panic!
You know, you lose your first guy, no big deal. You lose your second guy, maybe the other guy's just getting lucky. But you lose that third guy, and really this is when it starts to be a not good position for your team to be in.
Yeah. But it's like, if you play chess and you would send in Eugen, Jenkins, and Schniefuß, it's like you have already tributed 3 queens for nothing in return, and then you would feel like betrayed.
Yeah, you're losing a lot of good players for...
Yeah. Oh, it's really
no
Maple. Oh lord. We really go for Maple.
Alright, select Maple versus Dan. I mean, saving Gift as the final boss, which seems appropriate. Gift is known to do very well in Team Wars format. Has stolen a lot of games for Bricks and Potatoes in the past. Might have to come in and do the same thing later on in this war.
Ishizu with Steel Tombs.
Shizu with Sealed Tombs. This could be a lot of things, but I'm going to guess Kawaki Miru with Sealed Tombs.
Alright.
That's one.
My phone is ringing. I have to leave you guys for a second.
It's okay. I can keep people entertained for a minute. Take a call. We have got another classic. This keeps happening to Bricks and Potatoes. They keep going first with these. I'm assuming this is another Kawaki Miru deck. They keep going first. They set either 1 or 0 cards and pass. And then that gives Dan, you know, that full 5 cards to be able to set up what's likely going to be a pretty strong play. You know, setting 1 card, I think you have to, but honestly, like, this opens up the possibility for Dan to use a double Cyclone as well, which gives him even more potential ways to get out, like a Reactor Dragon. ASAP Turtle in chat, ! Room, looking for that room. Trying to join the tournament halfway through. Classic meme. Oh, Rivers, ! Spec ID. You know, someone trying to guess it right. Smug, hi, hello. So back on, you know, Dan finally making a play here, deciding what seems like the best option. Decides to use the Galaxy Cyclone onto that Canadia. Has a live Galaxy Cyclone in grave for his next turn. Immediately uses Unending Nightmare. Or immediately activates, but will not immediately pop.
We have a smug anime girl in the chat. I think it's a trap.
We do. It's definitely a trap. I can vouch for that. Found out the hard way.
Okay, so what is SelectMaple playing?
Still have not been able to see. So Dan dropped a Galaxy Cyclone onto that Canadia, which was face down. And then Dan immediately activated Unending Nightmare, which allowed SelectMaple to bring out that Canadia. And then SelectMaple has set 1 more card. And then that's about as far as this goes. We can see, I'm guessing at this point, SelectMaple likely pretty bricked. If not just trying to survive, but this is really not a great position to be in.
Hi Country Drop, we are doing Team Wars as you can see. And Monkeyboy is casting with me. You can see him above me, like this guy here. Hanging from the tree.
Yep, that's a real life photo of me. I sent it to Aichan earlier today. So Dan on turn 2 has got a live Unending and willing to set that as his only face down card, while Fortress kind of clogs up his back row, meaning that likely Dan has got a Reactor Dragon in hand that he can summon at any time with that Fortress. If not, then that was a really good bluff on his part. But like I said, I'm guessing that with him being willing to clog up all of his back row, probably has a play here of some sort. Has 2 ways to be able to pop this Fortress as well. Can either pay the 1,000 and use Unending, or can just go ahead and use the Galaxy Cyclone from grave. We have not seen Sealed Tombs be activated. No real reason yet, even if SelectMaple were to stop the Galaxy Cyclone activating in grave, Dan very clearly still has that Unending. Goes ahead and summons a Wyvern.
Gets another fortress to hand. Alright.
Yeah. Kind of further confirming that he does likely have
a
that
reactor in
dragon.
hand, yeah.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yep, uses the Galaxy Cyclone instead of paying any life points. Probably a smart move. Pops that first fortress. We'll see probably a reactor dragon come out. And then likely another fortress gets set or get played here right after that.
Yep, here's the other fortress. Here we go.
Yep. The thing with that being exactly like just happened with SelectMaple is that he can still chain to that fortress, but before the fortress's effect is
Activated, yeah.
Yep. And can still flip down that reactor dragon, which keeps him alive. Overall, not the worst position to be in, but not a particularly good one.
So until now, we have just seen SelectMaple playing Canada, so we don't really know which deck he's playing, right?
Yep. Just about every deck runs Canada, so not the most revealing tech or back row. You know, there's always the possibility that he's just running 20 Canadias. I don't think we've completely ruled that out yet.
I love you, Hellboy. What?
I think that's an IOU, but I'm not sure for what.
It's not love you? What does it mean?
So the letters IOU, as in kind of like the phrase like I owe you like $10 later or
okay.
something.
I see.
But I'm not sure for what. Smug asking if Abusement Park hired March for this war, which is a call out to Smug and Mai's war with Creeping Death versus Three Kings yesterday. March was able to go on this exact same ancient gear kind of rampage versus us.
I see.
So we've some of us in chat have the flashbacks right now.
Welcome, Sad King. Oh, it's Koakimeru. So now we know it's Koakimeru. You see two.
Yep. So Koakimeru confirmed.
But now no really offensive back row here from Dance. So Koakimeru can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, it can do as much as it wants to. We'll see that EugenHeidt getting its effect active. Does go for the ice here, which is good. If he's able to also summon out a Maximus, that'll be really good because he can pop the fortress. Yep.
And he
so
does.
What we'll see here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, this is going to be really strong. He'll be able to pop the fortress first, and then can use ice.
Oh no, he decides for the unending nightmare.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that works too. Because there's no way to pop the fortress yet.
Then he goes see tombs, so no
Goes
shenanigans
ahead.
from the graveyard.
Yep.
Uses Iceman to get rid of the reactor and swings in.
Yep,
For
really
the-
going all in there. Yep.
Oof.
Finally, somebody bringing an end to
To
Dan's
Dan.
rampage.
SelectMaple ended Dan.
Oh my gosh, finally.
That was the second deck already by Dan, so
Yeah.
Dan is out.
Yep. You know, I'm glad to see Dan clapping with that 2 and 6, but you hate to see a full blowout. So it's nice that Bricks and Potatoes are able to still bring in some, some last minute ditch efforts to try and still bring this back.
Maybe Maple's the guy who doesn't play Hearthstone beside this game.
Yeah, Maple, first player to come in, he turned off the Hearthstone. He sat down with his team. He said, guys, maybe we should stop simultaneously playing Hearthstone. And now look at that, they won. Abusement Park, for the first time this whole war, having to sit down and decide which player to send in next.
That is true. We have no idea who's coming next.
Yeah, the good news is that, they're in a really good position. They've got a lot of options they can send in now at this point.
Panda, Asia, Rooster, Tenma. Who is one of the smartest though? Mr. Schniefuß. Mr. Schniefuß. Fahren wir nach Berlin. I'm just a persistent idiot who can't say no even to this game is giving me 1 million reasons to quit. Are you talking about your girlfriend, Schniefuß, or are you talking about Duellinks?
I think Sniffus is calling out the frustration a lot of competitive players have right now, where
Okay.
this game is just it's been a struggle for a lot of people lately. A lot of it's either, and we've seen a lot of this in this war, even with, you know, either you have the cards to OTK your opponent, or they have the cards to OTK you.
Yeah, and you have to burn some money to get them.
Yeah, you spend a lot of money to get a deck where you essentially flip a coin and don't have to think too much, either win or lose.
Sounds like a good game to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a last gamble deck to me.
A classic game of spend $200 and play a game of coin flip.
Yeah. Or Russian roulette, basically the same.
Yeah. Russian roulette with your wallet.
Oh, it's ASAP. No, what? No, what did it do? Ah!
Oh.
What?
Table 2?
It's not ASAP? Oh,
It is, I think. I don't know.
What?
We'll just-
SelectMaple
We'll take it.
versus ASAP?
Yep.
Okay.
So
It's
Ace
ASAP.
will be on bottom here, Maple on top.
ASAP Turtle. Show what you've got.
Maple letting us know that he will do his best. Proving that by being the first person to knock out a Abusement Park player.
Yeah. Maybe they are used to abusement, that's why they call themselves Abusement Park. I might not even play, why would I, if the game treats me like this? Yeah, he's definitely talking about his girlfriend. It's not Duellinks. Can't be Duellinks. Schniefuß, you shouldn't discuss all those personal feelings in the chat with us. Please talk to your girlfriend. Dan is crying.
So Maple sets one card, still thinking, might have a play here. Probably debating if he wants to use a diamond core or not, maybe. Or, you know, he might have two rock monsters like Wall and Sandman, and figuring out if he wants to drop one
But I
and
think
have it on the field.
I think Maple here ran directly into a counter deck, so you see Joey, you know it's last gamble, which is likely going to end up in, yeah, what we have already seen before, Buster Blader.
Yeah, definitely a counter deck here, and definitely not, you know, a great start for Maple, or a great situation for Maple to be in. That being said, we see a Prisma Diamond Core. Maple really out here flexing on all of us.
ASAP Club's alright, we will see about that. So he would definitely set up his board, otherwise he wouldn't have already used his prismatic diamond core. What the?
Yep. So he will likely banish that and do something this turn. Did search for the iron core, meaning that, yep, that EugenHeidt is expected. So EugenHeidt probably going to summon out the Wall here. Yep, we see Wall, which is at least going to be able to stop the fusion spell once. Wall, a very key monster in this matchup. But how long you can protect Wall and keep it on field is kind of another story. At least able to buy one turn here. ASAP rocking the junk structure deck sleeves. Say those are not too common. So
That doesn't
creativity
look too
points.
good actually, with just one card in defense position and our one set.
Yeah, that is definitely not a great start at all.
And I don't think that is a bluff. I think he bricked.
Very well could have. Small chance here that he's running winged Karibos to try and survive until the last gamble, but we'll see. If that's not a winged Karibo, then I mean, essentially, I would say that Maple just wins right here. He can push through pretty much any one back row.
River SVP is calling Dan a bitch.
Ouch.
You're also nice to each other. What's going on here?
Yeah, Smug making a good point. Even if Maple summons Max and it gets Canadian, then ASAP still lives. Actually, yeah, I was thinking about it. Likely, ASAP can survive through this turn with 2 cards, even without that wing Karibo.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
really big.
Karibo. Here we go. No damage done. And now he has to decide which one of the cards he will keep on the board. Oh, okay.
So opting to keep the Urnite because it can help him swarm later. But we'll notice that SelectMaple expected to not be able to OTK this turn, in which case he chose to not summon another monster because he knew he couldn't protect it. Rivers.
It must be love. This is just a lot of love in the chat. I can see.
Oh, yeah, they're obviously in love.
Yeah.
All right, ASAP setting one more card and passing, trying to really survive until that last gamble turn. Probably not having very good cards would be my guess.
Maybe
or
he has another flute set and will go for another winged Karibo.
Yeah, you know, it could be a flute. It could be a fusion spell, and maybe he has fusion monsters in hand. Now that the wall is gone, kind of hard to say.
But there's definitely a delay, so something is going on. Edu is
Yeah.
saying, wow, 2 to 6. Yeah, that's what's been happening until today.
Yeah, Edu, it was, Dan went on kind of an ancient gear rampage. Paleozoic Canadia onto
The
the Sandman.
But he let the Knight through, so...
Ooh.
Stays on the field, the Knight. Alright.
Yeah, well, so yeah, we see that SelectMaple must have drawn into an Urnite. I'm guessing that ASAP's plan there was to leave the Urnite face up in hopes that it would get destroyed. But we see that he was able to draw into...
Here comes the last gamble. We will see about the roll. What is gonna
Discards
be?
2 DNA and rolls a 6. That's big.
Oh!
The 2 DNA
Oh,
being
here
a pretty...
comes Trinade.
Oh my gosh. Is there a 3rd DNA set? There is a 3rd DNA set. Oh my god. ASAP just barely able to survive off of Maple's, you know, kind of mediocre hand, showing that he did in fact have 3 DNA surgeries all at the same time.
Hi Kazumi. Hi Vera. But I think that's game. He has so many resources now on hand. He can do everything he wants.
Yeah, I mean, he can really make some big plays here. There's a chance that this Buster Whelp would be able to summon out a Buster Blader, which we might see here in a second.
Piercing damage coming in, and the Buster Blader may be special summoned to the field by Whelp's effect. No?
Oh, no, but even still, that's enough damage for lethal.
GG. Beaten by a Whelp.
Yep.
My audio's really quiet? Nah.
Not too surprising to see Buster Blader win that one, but just, you know, continues to put Bricks and Potatoes into that tough position.
Well, I guess it's catching up, right? To come back.
I mean a little bit. It's what does that put things at? 2 and 7, I think, for our Wait, no, yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
2
it's
and 7
2-7.
because
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Top player lost one deck. No, wait.
yeah.
Yeah. But he's still got a chance. Still
Yep.
got a
Oh, I
chance.
mean this is no, it's never over until the last player loses that last deck, and we've seen that tons of times in Team Wars. But definitely a tough spot to be in. For anybody curious on the other war going on right now, Renegades versus X-Hunters. Renegades are up 9-6.
9-6. Oh my god.
Yep, final or potentially final match.
Last man standing. Hi PDS. Then went 6-2. Yeah. Ancient Gears.
PDS, hi, hello.
Yeah.
And yep, Ancient Gears.
Dan went on the rampage with Ancient Gears. Clap
Yeah, Ancient
Eugen,
Gears.
Jenkins, and Schniefuß.
Yeah. We'll see though, you know, there's comeback potential in this alone. I mean, Ancient Gears clearly has been a very powerful Team Wars deck that it's shown its power this week. Ancient Gears definitely being a counter, a decently hard counter to Buster Blader. So hopefully for Bricks and Potatoes' sake can at least win this one. And maybe still have that potential to go on the same run Dan did and tie things back up.
He went for the fusion summon. Okay. And Dan doesn't get connection issues, he's very powerful. Nice, Sniff, nice. Yeah.
APK, a notorious team for unfortunate disconnection errors during. Yeah, you know, they've had some issues with Hellboy and his phone in the past, unfortunately. Maybe Dan as well. Miguel Joker, they didn't send Dinos versus Dan's Ancient Gears. No, I don't.
I haven't seen Dinos
any
at all
Dinos
today.
Yeah.
Haven't seen any Dinos today.
Yeah, Bricks and Potatoes seems to, I would guess, likely not be running them.
Oh, here comes the normal tribute summon. Reactor. End of a card set. Woo! Welcome, Shemzan. Shemzan can't be free. What a name.
Yeah, Sham, hi, hello.
Oh, he targets the DNA surgery. Only one card left. Seems to be a dead card. No really delay here.
Yep, ASAP will be able to.
Last gamble again and again, like throw a 6 and just get everything he wants.
Gets a 3 this time, so not quite as broken, but discards 2 whelps in order to draw 3 cards. Looking into a lot of back row though. I mean, it's a very tough position to be in.
Oh, he's set up.
Setting several cards. We'll see if ASAP has a plan or if he's just gonna lose this here.
We will find out.
Mr. Discreet he rolled a 3, but technically not a 3, more of a
yeah,
plus
it's
1.
plus 1 because he had to drop 2. Thanks for the follow, Chaos Gamer.
Alright, straight into battle phase here.
Oh, never DNA surgery.
Alright. Unending Nightmare is gonna be a hard counter here.
Ooh. And there goes DNA surgery.
Yep, and that might just be the game unless there's an. Yep, it's not looking good. Winged Karibo is destroyed.
Oh.
Pops a Canadia.
GG.
And there you go.
There you go. Maple
Oof.
wins. Maple wins!
Somebody asking how many people Dan beat. Dan went 6-2, so he took down 3 players.
Thanks for the 100 bits, Chaos Gamer. So that means now we have 8-2, right? Oh whoa. Oh whoa.
No, I think 3
Oh,
and
3-7, sorry. 3-7.
Yep.
Distracted.
Yep. So Maple trying to bring things back here.
Can't do maths right now. Was too excited about 100 bits.
I don't blame you. Yeah. PDS. No, I think 3-7. Because SelectMaple's on his second life, and then they still have gift left. Yeah, so
3-7 is
3-7.
correct. SF versus Maple is such a classic matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, these are 2 old school players who've been around for a good long while.
Yeah, that is true. I remember SF still as a shrimpy, just like Panda. For me, they are still shrimpies.
Sniffus saying he doesn't even know how AG is doing well in general. He thinks the deck is awful. Honestly, Sniffus, in my opinion, like it can brick and you can not have a play. But I guess what I would say about Ancient Gears is that I think out of the kind of the meta triangle right now, for Ancient Gears, Buster Blader, and Kawaki, Ancient Gears would be the deck that has the least hard counter out of that triangle. I think Ancient Gears beats Buster Blader pretty consistently. Buster beats Kawaki decently consistently. But as we've kind of seen here, Ancient Gears versus Kawaki really can go either way.
And here comes the Gear Town destroyed. Summon Reactor from deck.
Lex, hi, hello in chat.
Hi Lex there. Harambe.
Harambe, my father himself.
And Crow. Thanks for the godly host. Who was running Duellinks Team Wars before? Oh, 400 life points.
Yep. Oof. I'm guessing their war got finished up, in which case that means Renegades probably won and beat out X-Hunters.
Yep. I guess ASAP is like a... ASAP is in a tough situation right now. We need to hack Schniefuß? Why? What happened? Welcome Dark Necrophere. No. To turn this around, he needs like the really god hand. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, he needs some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
The Unending Nightmare is very, very threatening. Well, Fortress is a good start.
And a Gear Town.
Plays the Gear Town. Gear Town.
Face up. Alright. Oh.
Oh, and just surrenders.
GG.
I'm assuming that was intentional. I guess we'll find out here shortly and see if there's any disputes. Jonesy in chat, hi, hello.
Was that on purpose? I can't see anything in the Discord happening here, so I guess it is.
Seeing a lot of kind of back and forth in chat about that AG versus Kawaki matchup. Overall, yeah, I mean, I'm going to stand by my comment of the fact that, I think in theory, Kawaki's counter Ancient Gears, but as we've seen in a lot of wars this weekend, out of that entire triangle, I think AG versus Kawaki can kind of go either way. It's definitely not a hard counter, I wouldn't say. Blocky can definitely brick. AG has a lot of ways to get to build some very powerful board presence. Guess that's just kind of my 2 cents for you guys while we wait on this next player. Assuming that was a surrender, I believe SelectMaple bringing things to a 8 and 4 matchup now.
Sorry, I'm just correcting the scores. Just 8-4. No, wait, it's 7-4, right?
Oh, 7-4, yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right, sorry.
Confused. Confusion.
Adding is hard.
Yeah. It's Panda! Let's watch Panda play.
Ooh, Panda, EJPanda stepping up. Former owner of Shrimp Squad, rest in peace. And now proudly representing Abusement Park after the Shrimp Squad and Abusement Park merger.
A panda will be a shrimpy, always in my heart. He's gonna be a shrimp panda.
True, retweet.
So we see Ancient Gears versus Yu-gi-oh Motor. Alright. Panda has always like super creative ideas about putting decks together. Let's see what he's paying.
That's a fair statement. I'm guessing tie that binds Kawaki's on this, given that that's probably your best counter option for Ancient Gears, unless they're running some dinos. But with Yugi, I would guess that's Kawaki.
Yep, Knight, Kawaki's definitely.
Yep. So Knight, we'll see if that gets floodgated or Canadia. The likely will.
Panda was actually one of the first people who ever came to my stream on Twitch when I was starting just doing Yu-gi-oh Duellinks. I had no idea what I was doing there. He was one of the first persons. Yeah, he basically picked me up, and then I stayed for the awesome community. I came for Kaiba, but I stayed for the community.
Not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's been a really cool community around this game for a long time now, which is so cool to see.
Oh, there comes the Maximus. Will he pop the face down? It's an unending nightmare though.
Oof, Maximus going for unending, and this puts things in a really tough position for EJPanda actually. If I am Panda, I guess essentially I'm gonna use that Maximus pop on, or has he?
Will he go for Ancient Gear or for this?
He'll go for the castle. Because if he goes for the Unending Nightmare, well, no, he can pop the Unending Nightmare.
It's hard because if he pops this one, he risks that Unending Nightmare is going to destroy the Gear Town and special summon something next turn. If he go for the Unending Nightmare, next turn next turn is still dangerous because with the Gear Town on the field you can just tribute summon Canadia unless he destroys it. Okay. If he destroys it, okay.
Yeah, I think the move here, is pop Unending Nightmare, because you can't respond with Unending Nightmare to pop your own castle, otherwise it'll destroy it on chain and miss the time. And then he can swing over that Canadia and hopefully minimize SelectMaple's plays here.
Someone just wrote into the Discord that in the last game, SF misclicked and scooped. What? It was an unintended surrender. What? Nani?
Oh no. That's not what you want.
No, that's not what you want to hear and see. Oh lord. I thought I'm the only one who misclicked in Duel Links.
Misclicked and scooped.
Yeah.
That is tragic.
Okay, here we go. Tie that binds. Maximus destroys the Canadian. Stays on the field due to the diamond core effect.
Yep.
And now Maple is in a tough situation.
Yeah, he's in a top deck situation. In fact, trying to figure out what card he can draw that's gonna help him here.
Did you know that Panda was streaming too on Twitch?
Was streaming like in general?
In Yu-gi-Oh Duellinks. He used to stream Duellinks like occasionally.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Panda stream actually. I really, I guess, became a part of the competitive community around like GX. So for some of the guys who started in the competitive scene really early, I didn't get to see some of those moments.
That's super fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
If he comes online.
Yeah.
Oh. I wonder if SelectMaple is thinking about scooping too. Misclick scoop. No. Okay. Sets a gear town, use a galaxy cyclone to special summon reactor. Oh wow.
Okay.
Oh,
Now
wow.
we get to find out if Panda has good enough back row or not to stand up to that.
Is this a Canadian or is this a Canadian? What will it be? No, it's an econ. Oh, whoa. Okay, now he surrendered. Now he surrendered. Oh. Oh.
Well. Looking like a 4-8 right now. So Gift, again, like I mentioned earlier, he's going to be that final boss. Needs to see if he can pull a Dan and take down 3 players. It's possible. We've seen it happen. We know it can. But it's definitely an uphill battle here. It's going to come down to what decks Gift has and if he can go on a big run with them. Tub Pup thought this was Bricks and Potatoes versus Abusement Park, not Bricks and Potatoes Shrimp Squad. Definitely a lot of shrimp members in here.
That is true, yeah. So.
Gift coming in with Last Gamble Buster Blader. Not a bad deck to go on a run if you're in need of kind of a last-ditch effort here. In theory, should be able to beat this Kawaki deck, and then we'll see if he can get some good luck kind of going forward these next rounds.
Actually a hard counter for Kawaki deck. Now we will see if RNG is with Panda or not.
Yeah.
Panda summons up on the Konami RNG gods. God hand draw coming in. That's a winged Karibo. We all see it. It's a winged Karibo. From here, we see it's a winged Karibo. Yeah.
Yep, most likely a winged Karibo here. The Gift just, in theory, probably stalling out until he can last gamble.
But that's no other card. It's also interesting.
Well, if it is a winged Karibo, then he doesn't need, because he can't, no matter what happens, he can't take damage this turn. So really he just doesn't want to risk anything else getting popped by like a Maximus. Time and core.
Alright.
Searches out the Urnite.
So he will summon the EugenHeidt, I guess. Don't know if he will pop the diamond core right now. Maybe he will keep it for... Oh, he's using it right now, alright.
Nope, goes for it.
Yeah. Here comes the EugenHeidt. Yeah.
Yeah, Panda's trying to win this game sooner rather than later. He's saying, hey, that might be a bluff from Gift, and if not, we're gonna, hope he doesn't have a second Karibo and just try and beat him next turn. But likely committing to a field early here, which is fair.
Update the score, or I'm sorry. Didn't pay attention. It's 4-8, yeah. Yep. Oh, it was a bluff. It's not a win Karibo.
Oh my gosh, okay. Interesting. So you've got to wonder if EJPanda might have had a larger play he could have done there if he would have known that was a bluff. Either way, though, good, well played on Gift's part for sure. Taking advantage of the fact that the other team knows he's a new player coming in, or a new player for this war at least, and they don't know his deck build yet.
Here comes another diamond core. I told you, he called up the Konami RNG gods.
Yep.
God hand draw.
Panda called his uncle from Konami, told him to patch in some diamond cores toward the top of the deck. Oh. And here we go. He's got the back row, the double back row. He's got the iron cores, or the double diamond cores. I mean, setting out playing cards.
Since Panda's half Japanese, it wouldn't wonder me that he knows someone who works at Konami.
Panda choosing to go for the wall, which definitely makes sense. Wall's a very big card versus...
But gets trap hold right away.
Yep.
So he cannot counter the fusion anymore.
No, and so you gotta wonder if Gift has a setup for... Well, no. Gift would need DNA surgery and the fusion spell.
Okay, he plays safe instead of summoning a Maximus. I'm pretty sure he has already a Maximus in hand. He's just waiting on it.
Yeah, you would have to think that with this point, after having 2 diamond cores...
Hi, Mr. Riacon. Welcome to the stream. We are doing Duellinks Team Wars. It's like a tournament in Yu-gi-oh Duellinks, the card game I'm playing and I'm addicted to since over 2 years.
Yeah, a lot of us have been playing for a very long time.
And I find myself again, still a potato, concerning new decks.
I gotta say, when I downloaded this game 2 years ago when it did come out, I expect to still be playing it now. But here we are.
Yeah. Actually, I started streaming when the Steam version came out. Before, I was just too lazy to set up, like, the emulator with Nox or BlueStacks. Was too complicated. Want to do that? No. It is
you did the Steam version though, and claimed your Blue Eyes reward for downloading Steam.
I don't even remember if there was a Blue Eyes reward back at the time. He wrote a stream.
Maybe somebody in chat remembers, but I thought when Steam came out, there was like a certain Blue Eyes artwork that you'd get 1 copy of if you did the Steam download.
I don't remember that anymore. But it looks bad actually. For Gift, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he rolled that 3. We see Cosmic Cyclone onto one of the new sets, which is never good.
Canadia.
Onto a Canadia, which could be good, could be bad actually. Maybe not necessarily the worst thing to have sniped off.
Yeah. Okay, he came out the Blue Eyes with the planet in the background. Okay, I need to check then if I even got that. I don't remember that anymore. So long ago. It's like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I remember that because I actually never got Duel Links on Steam.
Right. Nani Baggio. Okay, he goes in with Sandman and EugenHeidt. Sandman to negate another trap, maybe a DNA surgery or something.
Probably.
Oh, there comes the DNA surgery. Sandman will negate it, And again, it's a prismatic one. Those guys, they have all prismatic
Yeah.
cards. Bad boy.
Double DNA surgery. That
Oh,
means that there's
cannot
no
negate.
defense here,
Oh,
though.
but
Just a
still,
scoop.
but he still scoops. Ooh, ooh. That was another point for the epic case. So 1 point away from the win of today's tournament. And Gift loses one deck.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
looking very good for APK at this point.
yeah. Last
Like I
man,
said,
last deck standing.
yeah, you can't count anybody out until that last deck loses. But still, I would say if you're on APK, things are looking real strong.
Panda's also like a real strong player.
Yeah, no, definitely. This very good lineup from APK in general.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't gotten to see anything from Tenma, but that's definitely a good friend of mine, and I know he's a very good player. And then CalmRooster, also definitely not anybody to take too lightly.
So we have two heavyweight teams against each other. But Dan just went on a streak and clapped everyone.
And I would say for Abusement Park to still be in the running for playoffs, I'm taking a look at division standings now. So they are, as of last week, are 3-3 with a -4 round differential, and so going up with potentially a +5, +6 round differential here will put them at 4-3, and then a positive round differential, which is good for them for sure. And then Bricks and Potatoes was really hoping to clutch out a win here to go from 4-2 up to 5-2 with at least a +9 round differential that they have right now, which would have put them in very good standing.
So basically, I can more identify with the name Bricks and Potatoes because I always brick and I play like a potato, even after 2 years. Yeah.
It's a very good team name, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. But I'm rooting for Panda, and I don't care which team he is. He's a panda. Must love.
Sanusuke added me in chat and said that his team was feeling pretty good before I went on a run versus them too. They're still on their toes right now. Call out to, that was actually my first debut match in Team Wars ever in Season 2, way back when. Abusement Park almost destroyed and blew out my entire team. I think at one point it was maybe 9-3. I had my
9-3,
last deck,
okay.
and then with Red Eyes Zombie Dragon as a deck, I managed to come back and pull that win.
You
Come
still
back for my
play
team.
Red Eye Zombie? Nah.
No, this was way back in
Okay.
Season 2.
When you started, I see.
Yeah, when I started in Team Wars at least, yeah.
Okay, Panda goes for the Ermknight and sets up a wall. Activates Diamond Core.
Yep.
That binds.
No back row, but that's not the worst. Wall is going to be very good for stopping any immediate first turn push here. Galaxy Cyclone, well, so Wall is going to be able to negate a Galaxy Cyclone if he tries to use that to pop like a Gear Town. What Gift would be hoping for at this point is to have ideally like a Breaker and a Gear Town.
So how many players of the Bricks and Potatoes or Abusement Park players have been actually using AG decks? I just have a feeling that in this tournament we have at least seen 3 different Ancient Gear decks. At least.
Yeah, we've seen a good handful for sure. So we've seen the one Ancient Gear deck from Dan, and any others APK's side. I know Dan at least won one mirror match early on, so that was one from Bricks and Potatoes. There's one right now, and maybe one earlier, I can't remember. So yeah, 3 or 4 so far, and we've seen a lot of wins come from Ancient Gears, so this is a good final deck for Gift to have for sure.
Hi, homie duck. How are you?
Oh my god, also, just, I looked away for a second as we were talking about that and was reading chat, but Breaker and Gear Town, the exact combination of cards The
He
gift
needed,
needed to be able
yeah.
to push through that wall. That is
Maybe
massive.
Gift called
Oh
also up.
my
Oh no, another Gear
god,
Town.
another
Oh
Gear
lord.
Town. That's game.
GG. That's GG. Panda, what happened to the RNG gods? They are not on your side anymore.
Oh my gosh. Assuming no Karibo in hand, which, again, I would not count on. That'll just be the game.
Let's game. He destroys the Gear Town and gets another reactor to the board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, Gift keeping things interesting.
It's his last deck. GG.
Alright.
So
Still in
Panda-
this for Bricks and Potatoes.
Yeah, so
Trying to protect their round differential as much as they can at the very least, if not bring the whole war back.
So Panda loses one deck. Bricks and Potatoes gets another point. Catching up a little, but it's still scary because Gift has only one deck left.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a good position for Bricks and Potatoes to be in. You know, they got to be real nervous about their chances to win this one. But at this point, when your team's in it like this, you know, I've been in these positions myself with my team, and I'm sure plenty of others have as well. I think at this point, you just got to take it one game at a time. You know, there's no like overarching strategy left to think about. You can't, you know, feel like the whole world's on your shoulders. Really, at this point, it's, you know, all right, let's see what I can. Who am I playing next? What deck am I playing next? Let's see if I can win this one. Yeah, Sniff is saying it's impossible with their luck. I feel you, buddy. We had
Okay.
we had that same situation yesterday, Sniffus. We see Weevil Underwood. Interesting.
It's a kind of burn or stall deck he's playing here.
I'm guessing maybe Amazons. They've made some few kind of niche appearances. I don't know how good I think they've necessarily been able to prove themselves to be in kind of recent weeks, but they're kind of one of those rogue decks that'll still show up here and there. Breaker and 2 back row, strong opening. Maybe we'll get to find out what this Panda deck is.
Oh, it's Amazoness, yeah.
Yep.
Somehow,
Opened with
yeah.
Princess.
And gets an onslaught, alright.
Yep, very strong opening right off the bat for an Amazoness deck. Or any deck that even has Amazoness cards.
Princess Epic. Check your PayPal. Check your
Classic.
PayPal. No.
You know, you can semi-limit Princess to 2, but we're still always out there opening Princess.
Yeah. Okay. So Panda sets up 1 princess on board. 3 back row.
Sets likely the onslaught and 2 other back row.
Scary.
And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he chooses to go in for like an Amazoness Queen to protect his life points versus an Ancient Gear Reactor, or potentially goes for like a Swordswoman to be able to, you know, set up some later damage. No swing. Interesting.
Okay, just ends his turn. And here comes a Canadian on the breaker. Nani?
Interesting. So wants to get rid of that breaker's counter before it can use it to pop anything else. Essentially, just really doesn't want to lose that onslaught. I'm wondering if Panda might have Amazoness Queen in hand.
Oh, you mean special summon with onslaught? Possible.
Yeah, well, so because that I'm trying to think of reasons why he might not have swung last turn. I guess possibly just because onslaught wasn't active yet, since he just set it that turn. But also maybe he didn't want to go for queen because it was in his hand and he couldn't go for queen. In which case that Canada could have been used there just to make sure that onslaught for sure makes it too.
He goes with Galaxy Cyclone to destroy what?
Galaxy on a 50-50 here. We'll see what it is.
Ooh.
There's some delay and some thinking.
Let's see.
Oh, was
That's
the onslaught.
Yeah.
That's very bad for Panda. Does activate the onslaught to be able to summon Canadia into defense mode, though. At least some extra protection.
Galaxy
And-
IPK. Check your PayPal. Check your
Yeah.
PayPal.
And if we notice, Gift does have that Parasite sitting on the top of his deck, so unless he is able to
To
pop
special
a Gear
summon,
Town
yeah.
this turn,
Yep.
then there's no way he's not going to get at least that dead draw.
Oh, he has another breaker? Oh lord.
Another breaker.
Well, there's some kind of delay, so a trap hole. Okay.
Floodgate trap hole onto that breaker, so there will be no breaker pops.
He would go for the princess, yeah.
Yep, just swings in. Wise choice to hit the princess too. Made sure to warn him out of all back row, which guaranteed his swing into princess. And then in that situation, stops Panda from being able to potentially swing with the princess and summon out that queen or something else. We'll see if the queen was in the hand or not. Could potentially tribute summon or tribute
Galaxy
set.
Cyclone 2.
Yep, so also had a galaxy. Onto
Oh, it's a fortress.
Could be very bad if there's a reactor in hand. Hard to say.
We will see.
Looking like a no.
This is question.
Yeah, Miguel thinking we're about to see Panda set queen and stall. Definitely could be possible.
Yeah. He uses a fortress effect. Oh, and there is a reactor. Why didn't it take so long?
Gosh, he did. Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess just thinking through all the options though, you know, Gift
Yeah.
being that last player, wants to make sure that he thinks through every potential option here. We do see the Amazoness Queen in hand, so that was the reason that we didn't see any swing earlier.
Okay, but he
from that
didn't set any
princess.
back row.
No back row though, so that's very bad overall. Gift will take 1,000 damage and have essentially a dead draw this turn. But ultimately, Reactor Dragon being on field is very threatening. That being said, once this this queen is able to move into defense mode, then Panda can at least stall for a bit. Now, Panda does have less cards in the deck, so he can't win by deck out. But there is a Floodgated Breaker as well as a very weak Parasite on field.
And he gets rid of the castle with the Galaxy Cyclone.
Yep, okay, that's fair.
Just set into defense position. If he gets draw into a golem, I'm pretty sure he had at least one golem in this deck.
Yeah, he may very well have a lava golem, which could be interesting.
Yeah, and then he will burn him down over the next turns.
Yep, and Gift really doesn't have a lot of outs to a lava golem either. He'll have another Reactor Dragon in deck that he could eventually draw and tribute over. But at this point, it's who gets the lava golem and who gets the Reactor Dragon first. I'm trying to think, you know, Gift probably does not honestly have a lot of outs to an Amazoness Queen, really.
Nope.
Reactor Dragon is not able to negate that effect because the effect does not activate. And so Amazoness Queen really can survive any number of Reactor Dragon swings.
AG is Ancient Gears decks are not prepared for this. Nope.
No, not particularly well. And Amazon's being a rogue deck doesn't really give them too much of a reason to prepare for this either.
Yep.
That being said, I mean, we don't know what kind of semi-limited cards Gift is running. So we could
he
very
decides
well
to tribute the Parasite for another reactor.
Interesting.
And goes for piercing damage. Okay.
Oh, okay. Smart play. Very smart play. So now, given that the Reactor Dragon was able to tribute over another Ancient Gear monster, that means that there's piercing damage associated with it for every swing it has, which essentially puts a timer onto onto Panda's life points. But
But
the
Gift is in
Amazon
a tough
Swordswoman-
situation with the swordswoman out there.
Yeah, Swordswoman threatening 1500 every turn, regardless of what position.
Yeah, no
you're
matter
at,
what he
like I said.
does. Attack, defense position, swordswoman does not care.
Yeah, this deck really counters Ancient Gears pretty hard, I
Yep.
would say.
GG. I would say this is the end for Gift.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a lot he could really top deck here.
I mean, even if he has drawn into a wyvern and gets that summon to the field, destroy the swordswoman, taking maybe only 300 or 200 damage, 200 damage, and he goes.
The only card, I think the only card would be Econ. Econ would be exact lethal if that back row is dead, which it probably is not.
He surrendered.
Yep.
Ah. End
Alright,
of
well
bricks and potatoes.
Yep, that ends the war. 10-5. Bricks and APK winning this one over Bricks and Potatoes.
Of course, they have APK, that's why. Won by APK. Hi, QWERTY. So, who should we interview? Should we ask Dan the Clapper or Panda, the creative deck guy, or both?
Let's see who Abusement Park wants to send in. More than happy to talk to him and get some thoughts from that war.
Who is up for interview? Was a good game. Was really good game. Oh.
Yeah, well played overall. I would say definitely some, some pretty strong opening hands from Dan with those Ancient Gears, as well as just Dan playing it very well on top of that, giving him some advantage there, and them to take a quick lead, and then from that point, Abusement Park just tore it away.
Dan is coming, just the egg road. Yeah, alright. So let's check out the waiting room.
Perfect. H. Murata, thank you. Mako, we appreciate you guys giving us some casting compliments. And yeah, and Sano, I totally agree with you. Your comment, this meta is more aggravating than fur meta because every deck is either good hand and you get to sack, or bad hand and you get sacked.
Should I put Egg into? Just move him.
Yeah, whoever wants to join in.
Oh, Egg just moved out, alright.
Hello, friends. Who do we have? Anybody in here?
Dan is in.
Nah, nobody's here.
No one?
Nope.
Is this Dan himself?
Yep, that's me.
No, it's his double. It's a double of Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, congratulations on putting in a majority of the work for bringing Abusement Park to a very commanding win of 10-5
Yeah,
over Bricks
thanks.
and Potatoes.
I think that's like my best score in Team Wars like ever.
Yeah, it feels good.
It does.
I mean, it went
Congratulations,
just like
though.
in the first minutes to like 6-2, right? Or 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went 1-1 with Kawaki and like 5-1 with Ancient Gears or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So you were the opener with Kawaki Ancient Gears. Any insight into the thought process from your team there?
We've been practicing a lot, and I figure it's a pretty good combo, especially if you can like win the mirror going against Kawaki, and that's what happened. I won the mirror and just went on a run.
Yeah, very true. So was it more of an instance where you guys thought it was going to be just a generally good pairing versus maybe a specific counter to what you expected Bricks and
Yeah,
Potatoes?
it's a pretty good general combo. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Welcome, Mac Dragon. Hi.
Yeah, hi, hello. Dan, yeah, just how did that feel? And I guess walk me through, some of those duels you had and some things going through your head at that time.
Well, a lot of them were just sacked, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just win here. He just set a card. I have like a Breaker Gear Town. That's game.
Yeah, there were several duels. They sent in Kawaki's. They went first with them and just set either 1 or 0 cards and passed.
Yeah, if going second with Ancient Gears, if you have the combos, it's really strong.
Yeah, you can just blow out an opponent.
Did you actually practice with Panda to train his like anti-ancient gear deck that Amazonas he brought up as the last one?
Oh yeah, Panda's been practicing Amazonas a lot, and he has like the Princess APK. He opens it every game.
Was Amazons from you guys a choice as a thought of a direct counter for Ancient Gears, or what
Actually, it
was the
wasn't
thought
for
process?
Ancient Gears, but it does do pretty well, I guess.
Yeah, no, it definitely did well for you guys.
Oh, so it
Yeah.
wasn't for ancient gears, the counter?
No, there was another
Ah.
matchup we had in mind, and it didn't
Oh.
really happen.
Fair. I will. You guys are maybe saving some secret sauce there, so I
Yeah,
won't
we're
dig
saving
too
it.
deep. But yeah,
Interesting.
well done in that case. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
How do you feel about the meta in general right now? Kind of where things are at for the game and for Team Wars.
To be honest, I feel it's a little too sacky right now.
Yeah.
With like quackies and stuff. Going first can just mean death.
Yeah, just flip a
Yeah.
coin and win. I mean, second or
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Well, if they nerf quackies, who knows? The meta might become pretty good.
Yeah, I think most of us have our fingers crossed on, maybe a pretty spicy ban list coming
Yeah,
up.
there should be one coming soon.
Ideally, but who knows?
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, you are
Yeah.
Portuguese then, or do you speak Portuguese? Because someone wrote into the chat. Is that a joke?
Well, it's complicated. But I speak Portuguese, yeah.
And why is it complicated to speak Portuguese? Are you from Brazil?
No, speaking Portuguese isn't complicated, but
Are you from
I
Brazil?
don't know. It's a huge debate if I'm from Brazil or not. I'm just gonna keep it a secret.
Oh, so okay, you're going to keep a secret if you are from Brazil, or why you do speak Portuguese?
No, where I'm from, yeah, that's a secret. Only
Oh,
few
okay.
people know.
Okay, alright.
Interesting.
Secret sauce. Secret sauce. I see.
So what kind of prep did your team put into this week? Or do you have any insights there?
We've been scrimming quite a bit, both with other teams and internally, and lots of duel room practice to learn matchups and stuff.
Yep.
And
is there anything that you guys did that you think helped you the most?
Probably matchup practice. Like I played Ancient Gears last night in PDS's tourney. That helped a ton to learn the deck. Although I'm glad Shiny didn't play Lavels today because I probably would have lost. I lost her the finals last night.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna ask how that tournament ended up going.
Yeah, I lost to Lavels in the finals versus Shiny. I was pretty sad.
Thanks for the follow.
No Shiny appearance in this one.
Yeah, thank God she didn't show up.
So, how do you guys feel about clapping such actually a strong team like Bricks and Potatoes with their heavyweighters as team members like Eugen and SelectMaple and Schniefuß in a 10 to 5?
It feels very good, especially because we were like on a losing streak. I think we lost the past 3 weeks in a row, so this match was super important for us if we wanted to make playoffs.
Yeah, it definitely was. I had taken a look, I think maybe toward the end of this war at division standings, and made a few comments on that. Bricks and Potatoes probably really wanted to win this to secure a solid chance at playoffs. You guys, started off the season super strong, but these last couple weeks have been a little bit tougher for you guys, and this was a huge one for you guys.
Yeah, this was definitely huge.
Yeah,
it feels pretty good.
Yeah, and this is going up with a +5 win is big for you guys too. That'll put you
in
a positive round differential.
It's super strong.
Yeah, round differential is pretty important in such a close division like ours.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of these divisions are ending up kind of shaking out to be a lot closer than a lot of people expected, and it's going to be really interesting to see which teams end up making.
I also don't know if that the question has been asked before, but where does the abusement from Abusement Park come from?
I haven't the slightest idea.
What? But you're a member of the team.
Well, not like an original member.
He's an OG Shrimp Squad.
Yeah, Shrimp Squad represent.
I see.
There you go. R.I.P.
So all shrimpies now went to APK. I see.
Yeah, all the shrimps that were left over.
Shrimpies are never leftovers. Never.
True.
Yeah. Right. Is there anything you want to add?
Well, shout out to my team. We practice a lot. We put in a lot of work this week, and It showed up. We showed up today. Thanks to it.
Yeah, great job overall to you guys. Thanks to everybody in chat who came and hung out and who appreciated our casting and watching these guys put in some really good work against each other.
So thanks for the great game from both sides. I haven't seen so many good players in one match in Team Wars since for I don't know. Can't just remember. This was really a great game, and I want to thank my Monkeyboy, this guy over my head, for joining me for today, very spontaneously.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for casting, guys.
For letting me jump in. Yep. Take care, Dan. Thank you so much.
So now
yeah, thanks just for everybody for tuning in.
Yes. Also thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for Panda for picking me up to doing this Yu-gi-Oh Duellinks stream thingy. It's really a lot of fun, especially the community is really awesome. That's why you stay. And now the question is, should we rate Radlab or Godfather Duellinks? They are both casting Team Wars matches.
Ah, that's a good question. Which are the two matches that we have going? Odyssey and Banana Rampage for Radlab, it looks like.
Yeah.
That one's 5-4, so that's a pretty close matchup right now.
And the other one is Fame. It's also 5-4.
Yep. Yep. Usual Suspects versus Bless RNG, also 5-4. I guess you guys can let us know in chat if you have a preference.
Yeah. Do you have a preference considering Team Wars match you want to watch next as a host?
Yeah. Let us know where you guys are planning on heading, and we'll see if we can accommodate the best matchup there.
Oh yeah, ASAP asked me to shout out Cheek Drillers, so shout out to Cheek Drillers.
If you have any other final shout outs you need, you let us know.
No, I think that was
perfect. Just that one for Cheek Drillers. Again, I'll just give a couple more seconds for some last minute shout outs to which war you guys want. So we've got Usual Suspects versus Bless RNG, and then we have got Odyssey versus Banana Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to be important games for our division.
Yeah, those are all same division, I think.
I want to give a shout out to Schniefuß and Eugen, to all the German players out there. We are all here in Germany. We are going together to Berlin.
You're all going to Worlds. Worlds is going to you guys.
Yeah, Worlds is here. At our place. At our home. That's why. It's just Schland.
Yeah.
I must just enjoy this.
Well, Aichan, I think you are free to probably pick either war if you have a preference.
Okay, so no one answered.
Your favorite.
So no one answered our call. I think I would just pick then the Bless RNG, because that used to be Jarabian's team. Alright. So guys, we now rate Mr. Godfather Duellinks.
Yep, and that'll be a really good one. Bless RNG is a X&1 team, I believe, so there's somebody to watch out for.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're #1 in the division right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so should be a good one. All right, enjoy everybody. Have a great weekend.
Good night. See you next week for Duellinks Team Wars. Bye bye. Winky
Bye.
wink. Winky wink. Nani?